For the last 10 years or so, I've been doing my weekly planning or weekly review if you're from the GTD world, using just simply my computer. I used to look at my calendar, my task manager and my projects all on the computer. Problem is, it's not fun and it's very boring. So in January, I decided to go back to doing my weekly planning using paper and pen. And wow, it has been fantastic. The joy of doing a weekly planning session has returned, and I get to think a little bit deeper about the bigger picture of what I'm trying to accomplish. You see, the biggest problem of doing a completely digital weekly planning session is you're going to get distracted. You're going to get pulled down rabbit holes you really do not want to be going down when you're doing the weekly planning session. I mean, there's those little tasks that you collected that you're going, why did I collect that? What does that really mean? And oh, look at this project. It's a complete mess. Maybe I should start cleaning up the file folder to make it look a little bit more attractive. And you end up not doing a weekly planning session, or as many of my clients have found out, weekly planning takes 2 or 3 hours to do. No. It should never ever take 2 to 3 hours to do a weekly planning session. Weekly planning session is 40-45 minutes tops. And when you bring paper into the equation, what you're going to find is that you actually start to focus on the bigger picture of what is truly important. And today I'm going to show you exactly how I do that and hopefully give you some ideas about how you can adopt the humble pen and paper to do, and a highlighter, because they are so much fun, to do your weekly planning session. Okay, so the way I am doing this is I'm taking my weekly planning matrix to actually create a little square on an A4 piece of paper, and I will start right there because this is where you get that bigger picture view of what is going to be important next week. Now, just for those of you who are curious, I do my weekly planning on a Saturday morning. It's the best time to do it. I'm fresh. I've probably had enough sleep, which I don't always get. The week is still fresh and the week ahead of me is just far enough away for me not to worry too much about what's coming up on Monday. Plus, I can then enjoy the whole weekend knowing that I've got everything sorted out and planned. Now, essentially, I draw out with a pencil and a ruler a matrix, a squared matrix. And in the top left, I put in core work. Now, those of you familiar with the weekly planning template matrix, core work is at the top, and your core work is the work that you are paid to do. It's the work that you essentially have to do every single week or month or whenever. And as you can see here, I've got my write the blog post, record YouTube video, write my Learning Center note newsletter, write the podcast script, write weekly newsletter, and record the podcast. Now, this is just a sample of what I'm looking at this week. I'm recording this on a Tuesday, and I actually did my real weekly planning on Saturday, but I'm trying to show you some of the things that I've put in. So for this week, in the projects and issues, now these are the things that are not going to come up every week. They're just going to be the kind of stuff that I deal with on whenever they come up. Right now, my biggest project is my COD course update. It's a free course, and if you haven't taken it yet, why not? It's free. It gives you a simple productivity system. Anyway, enough of the plug. The COD update is just, it needs refreshing. It's been a while since I refreshed it, and there's a few little things that I want to add into the new update. So that's my number one project. It's right up at the top. Now, the other issue is I need to get some readers for my book. And by the way, little segue, for those of you curious, what pen am I using today? Well, I'm using a Parker Sonnet. Now, nothing special. Parker Sonnets are all over the place. You can buy these at any pretty good stationers. However, this one is very special. This one was the pen that I bought in 1999 because I'd got my first job in a law firm. And so it commemorates that particular occasion. And every time I look at this pen now, and I just think the beauty, the classic design. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here. But anyway, this pen has history. I love it. And it's a beautiful writer. Anyway, so going back to the weekly planning matrix. The reading, so I need to get some readers for my upcoming book. So that's something that is probably going to take about 20 minutes to send out some emails. That's really about it. Those are the only projects that I'm going to be doing. Now, going down to the personal area of this, what things do I need to be aware of on a personal level? Well, I need to pay the credit card bill. I also need to exercise 5 times per this week, and also that will include 2 runs. And I'm going to write that into my personal area. Now, the radar is what people get very excited about. The radar is all about things that you need to be aware of, but there's nothing that you need to do. So for example, as you can see here, I've got on my radar right at the top, Louis Vet. Our dog needs to go and get his annual injections. He's going on Wednesday. So that is in my radar right now. What else do I need to be aware of next week? That's also something that I'm going to put in there. So we're going to be away on Wednesday. So I'm going to write that in there, away on Wednesday, because that's an all-day trip to Seoul. So I'm going to put that in there because I need to be aware of it, because essentially I'm not going to be in the office to do any work. So that's the kind of things that I've put in there. This is really quite simple. There's never usually a lot that I need to do. However, I will go back and do a second pass, and in which case then I start using a different color. So for example, as you can see with record my YouTube video here, I will usually put the title of the YouTube video in so that I know what it is that I'm going to be recording. It sort of gets it into my subconscious mind so I can plan it out. Sometimes, like I will do the podcast script, I might put the title in for this week as well. And that's really about it. Now, I often put in other little notes. So I've got 2 B5 notebooks due to arrive this week. Again, I could put that in radar, but it's not that urgent. It's just I need to be aware that they're going to come at some point. And I'm looking for a suitable red ink to put into my ink list. So I've got quite a few greens, I've got some blues, but I'm missing a red. So I decided I want to get a red ink into my system. And that's essentially it. Now, once you've done that, then we can move into the computer. Now, this is where I can open up my calendar and I can start looking at where I've got space to fit these things in. Now, I don't need to worry about my core work because that's already fixed. I've got that time blocked out already. But I do need to be aware of like the COD update. When am I going to do that? And what am I going to have time to do on that project this week? Now, to be fair, because of Wednesday, I'm away all day. The only thing I've really got time for is to finalize the planning of that so I can start recording next week. The readers, I've already sent the emails out, but that was something that I would put into my task manager, send out 5 to 10 emails to people I want to be pre-readers of the book. That's gone out. And with the exercise, I can now schedule that into my calendar. And also I can put as an all-day event that my credit card is due to be paid on Friday. So this is where I can start moving this stuff in. Now, in terms of how I break this down, I will spend about 10 to 15 minutes on paper first. I'm not looking at the digital system at all at this stage because I don't want to be distracted by low-hanging fruit, meaningless tasks or low-value tasks. This is about the big stuff that I need to be aware of next week. After that, I can then go in and just go through my next week folder to see if there's anything that needs bringing forward. And if it does, I will bring it forward. But apart from that, the job's done. But what I really enjoy about having this is that now I can actually bring in my weekly planning. Now, the actual real one is here. And as you can see, it's multicolored. And I've written quite a lot of little additional notes at the side. But as I do the work in the week, it's in my planning book and I can just go back to it. and just for a few minutes just to look at it and think, yeah, this is going well. This is going really, really well. And I like that. It's much better than going into the digital system, trying to figure out what it is that I'm trying to get accomplished that week. It's never clear, but at least when you have it on paper, it really does make it very clear about what it is you want to get accomplished. So there you go. That's what I wanted to share with you. I highly recommend that you do the weekly planning matrix in paper first. When I started out with that system, I was looking at it digital. And if you're curious, you can actually look at the video up here, which will show you how to do it digitally. Digitally has its advantages, but I think you'll find that going on paper first slows you down and really gets you to think about the bigger picture of what you want to get accomplished next week. So as I say, the video that I suggest you watch next is the full breakdown of how to use the weekly planning matrix. That is right here. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I wish you all a very, very productive week.